shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX.
J-Way.
I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck.
Give me
Into
that.
the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, Joe, and I got my co-host, B. Foster, with me. And I got my guys from the NFC North representing the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. We are glad to be here today. We're going to have a good show. I want to remind everyone to make sure that they subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube and follow us on all the aggregators. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, just type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN. Make sure you're following. Make sure that notification bell is on so when we drop content, you'll get an alert. Download those episodes. I'm going to let the guys introduce themselves, and I want you to do the same for them. Follow their YouTubes and make sure you're following them on those audio platforms. I'll start with you, Dave. How you doing?
Things could be better. As you can see, I'm still stuck in daughter number 2's basement, waiting on the moving company to bring all our stuff to the new house. But everything other than that is going well. The Vikings are getting ready for their rookie minicamp this Friday, which will be interesting to see all the newbies out there. It's going well.
Okay. Pay, where can they find you? Let them know where they can find your stuff, just in case.
If they don't know already, it's over at Vikings First and Skull. And why? Because we skull in the land of the frozen north, the chosen ones. We are Vikings. And you can find us Vikings First and Skull YouTube, Vikings First and Skull on your favorite podcast aggregator, no matter which one it is. And if you find one that we aren't on, let me know. We will get there. You can also find our written work over at Fans First Sports Network, who we're partnered with as well.
All right. Mr. Pay, this guy. We were off camera, man, last night. This guy is just hilarious, man. Please tune into his shows. I'm sure the energy and the entertainment value that he brings will definitely delight you. But Pay, how you doing, sir?
I can't call it June. The weather's breaking. No more winter YN nonsense going on. Now you got the old heads. The old heads are outside, posted up at the gas stations, with their spider bikes, high off blue pills and honey packs. So summer's right around the corner.
I saw a bunch of people riding around on spiders earlier, man. It's just, man, as soon as the weather breaks, they break those out. What's your shows and where can they find you?
Oh, definitely covering all base for Chicago sports. That's the Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, Chicago Sky, Fire, Blackhawks, Chicago-based college programs, and the Cubs and the White Sox to the few that like those. But as of today, we are talking Chicago Bear football. What are we got going on in this offseason? You can catch all of these shows at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, available anywhere you get your podcasts and on YouTube.
Okay. And also, the better half of Bleachers and Speakers, the man of many monies, B. Foster.
Yeah, B. Foster, one half of Bleachers and Speakers. You can find all Detroit sports covers. That's Tigers, Lions, and Pistons on our YouTube at Bleachers and Speakers. And we have various different audio accounts, post-game podcast, and Corner to Copa as well. But the weather's breaking, and I had to swerve a couple accidents to get here because people aren't people, not swerving accidents, but the end result of accidents, because people don't know how to drive when the weather gets nice. But
Okay.
we're here.
Okay. Be careful, man. Pay illustrated that the O ends are out, but the Y ends are out too, and they can't drive most of the time. So just be careful out there. Yo, anyway, I saw a transaction earlier between the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They acquired Pickens, the wide receiver, and I said, you know what? We need to sit down and talk about our rosters. Free agency, you still have, some moves here and there, but for the most part, that is over. The draft is over. A lot of us have walked away with some good upgrades, some not so happy with it. And I'm talking about myself, but there's some I'm telling you, I just paid attention. I think I looked at the wide receiver core of each one of our teams, and I'm like, man, I mean, we are up there as far as the NFL as a whole, as far as the division. We have some of the best talent from a wide receiver standpoint that I've seen in a while for each team. So that inspired me to talk about this, because we can just go over our rosters, any changes. We can go projected depth chart with each unit. I want to start with Dave and the offensive line, because this is his thing. So, Dave, what has Minnesota got going on offensive line-wise from a depth chart type of thing? Did you get any acquisitions there? Who's going to be there? Anybody at risk to lose a starting spot? Just give us the whole spiel on your offensive line.
Well, everybody knows I love the big round bellies. And this season, or this off season, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, after getting schooled by the LA Rams and the Detroit Lions, decided to improve both our offense and defensive line. Now, I'll start with the offense.
Okay.
We had 3 interior guys last year in Blake Brandel. Oh, brother. It's a bitch getting older. Our center, tiny diminutive center, and Dalton Reisner at right guard. And we got rid of all 3. Except for Blake Brandel still on the team, but we replaced him. Started out in free agency, and we got Ryan Kelly from the Colts as our new center. We have Will Fries, a young right guard, up-and-coming right guard that got injured and broke a tibia last year, as the right guard. And we drafted Donovan Jackson out of The Ohio State University to start at left guard. Blake Brandel will go back to his backup role as swing tackle / guard, which will be good, adds to the pack. And they are bracketed by 2 Pro Bowlers, generally considered. Christian Darrisaw on the left, probably the second best left tackle in the league, and Brian O'Neill on the right. We have improved tremendously across the front 5.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, we took a whole bunch of pressure up the middle during last year and in previous years, and we wanted to stop that, especially since we're starting J.J. McCarthy as quarterback, and we want to keep him as healthy and pristine as possible.
Right. Sounds good. Pay, I said the big thing that Chicago needed to do was to upgrade the offensive line. I think that was hindering Caleb last year with the amount of pressure that he had, and you guys did not waste any time in the offseason. I've seen it for myself, that the upgrades, the changes you made up front. So just, for those who haven't paid attention, let them know what's going on with your offensive line, how they looking, what's the depth chart, anything of note. What do you think about it?
Yeah, the team invested heavily in offensive line this season after having it rubbed on their nose, so to speak, last year. As you know how you housebreak a dog and they make a mistake, you put their nose in it, and the Bears had their whole face forced into their own pile of fecal matter all last season. So I am happy. It's a huge dunk. Yeah, you're right. I am extremely happy that Ryan Poles and team made that operation number one this offseason. They made some draft picks on the offensive line this past draft. Those are a little bit more for depth pieces, but where we improved the draft happened in free agency. We acquired Drew Dahlman at center, Jonah Jackson at the right guard, and they're going to join Joe Thuney at left guard, who's not only going to bring in great guard play, but he's the veteran presence who's played at all pro level his entire career. That's the key. We hope his work habits and his experience and his je ne sais quoi rubs off on Braxton Jones, who's tracking to still be our starting left tackle, and our first round draft pick from last season, Darnell Wright, who was our right tackle. We hope that they can gain something from just him being there. And it's got to be. He's played in 4 Super Bowls, so he knows something about how to defend a highly prized quarterback.
Okay. B. Foster, what's going on with the offensive line in the Detroit Lions? Any acquisitions, any changes in the depth chart? Whatever you got to say about it, it's on you.
Yeah, so we're going to have 2 brand new guards this year. Well, not brand new guards, but Christian Mahogany will be taking over where Kevin Zeitler left off. So we still yet to be seen. He looked good in limited opportunities, but he's going to be manning one side. And then right now, the slated guard on the other side is Tate Rutledge, who we obviously spent our second round pick on. So that's 2 young players with not a lot of, well, obviously Rutledge has no experience in the NFL. So that's the thing that jumped out at me on the offensive side of things. Outside of that, obviously, we are heavily banking on Aiden Hutchinson coming back and being the anchor of our defensive line. We got a couple guys that are either coming back off injury / have a pretty long history of injuries, such as Pascal, Marcus Davenport, of course, Levi Onwuzurike. So
you went into the defensive line. Now we sticking off.
Are we sticking just to the line? Okay, my bad. I'm getting off. off. So the main thing.
That's why I'm here, Foster.
Keep me in line, man. Keep me in line, literally. But so for the most part, it's the guards that are the biggest question for us right now. Obviously, we have Taylor Decker, who we hope will give us at least a couple more good years. Penei Sewell is locked in for long term, and then Ragnow as well at the center position.
Yeah. Also, they're to note, Glasgow could be a cap casualty with the incoming rookies that were drafted. Is one of those people where he didn't play very good at I think it was one of the guard positions he didn't play very good at. He was graded low, but he also can play center. So that might be a situation where he will be able to stay, but we'll have to see how that goes. And as far as those 2 rookies they drafted in Mahogany, I think the Lions will figure out the guard situation a lot sooner than later. Now, the core that actually inspired this show was me thinking about the receiving core, because of what happened with Pittsburgh trading away Pickens. And I was like, you know what? Each team has a nice crop of wide receivers. We also skipped Green Bay's offensive line. Now, I don't expect anybody on here to know what Green Bay is doing on an offensive line, but we can talk about their, skill positions because we pretty much know those as far as. Go ahead, Dave.
I've got it right in front of me.
Okay, what tell us if I hate to do this to the guys, but let Dave talk about Green Bay's offensive line.
Well, Green Bay's got Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard, Elgton Jenkins at center, Sean Ryan at right guard, and Zach Tom at right tackle. Is it a quality line? Yeah. But hey, they did stuff in the offseason, so they're there.
We'll see. We'll see. I've had enough.
Hopefully, Jordan Love doesn't like them.
The professional quarterback.
Stiffs them on steak dinners.
And while we're here, Dave, what's up with the wide receiving core? Who you got? Did you get anybody new? Anybody out? What does the Vikings have going on? As far we already know, they got the best
wide receiver in the league, and
yeah,
Justin Jefferson, who gets doubled and tripled more than any other wide receiver in the league, including the duo down in Cincinnati.
Whoa!
Well, hey, you want to look it up? Hey, I'll send you the stats.
I believe you, Dave. You ain't got to prove. You got to prove nothing to me. I've done it. This is what going into our third season doing this show. I know you know your stuff. If you say it, I'm taking it as if it was delivered by God Himself.
Now, when it comes to the best duo of wide receivers in the league, I've got to tip my hat to Tim Lyons and the Cincinnati. They outproduced, but the Vikings with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison as wide receiver 2 are number 2 on that list. And that's what everybody's looking for. That's what drove the Pickens trade this morning, was to improve, the running mate with CeeDee Lamb. But yes, JJ to JJ is going to happen this year, and I can't wait. Our wide receiver 3 is Jalen Naylor, and everybody knows from last year, but we drafted Ty Felton out of Maryland. He's a speedster.
Yeah.
He's just under 6'2". He runs a 4.37.
Yeah.
40. And he was the offense for Maryland last year. And the last time we drafted a Maryland wide receiver turned out pretty decent.
Yeah.
At least for a while.
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs. Yep.
Yeah.
So whether he works his way to wide receiver 3 or stays wide receiver 4, not so sure. We also signed in free agency Rondell Moore, who I think will probably work his way down the bottom, but more of a special teamer. And then we got a whole bunch of names after that. So I don't expect much. They'll be on the bottom of the roster. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Broski Bear, I gotta agree. I watched him, watched Big Ten football all year long, and he is legit. He is. Hey, those Chicago Bears, they got some wide receivers over there. What we talking about?
The Bears did add to that very name-heavy wide receiver room this past draft. They didn't re-sign Keenan Allen, who I'm still believe is a free agent. He still has desires of being a Chicago Bear because he's still kicking it in Chicago. Every weekend, I'm seeing posts of him out there in River North and doing some type of other stuff. I'm like, hey, bro, it's okay. It's okay to move on. It's okay. It's okay. We can see other people. We can still be friends. We can see other people though. But in the draft, the Bears did draft Luther Burden. He is an electric, stout wide receiver out of Mizzou. Kind of built like a running back. That's why I said stout. He's about 6 feet. You know how they do in the professional You know how they do in professional sports. If you say he's 6 feet, it's not really a thing. You're right. Yeah, I don't think I don't think it'll be worse if they said he was 5'11". Like, okay, I know that's a lie. No one's 5'11". But 6 feet as a professional athlete, I don't buy it.
With his cleats on.
There you go. With the new pack of cleats, they haven't been shaved down or anything. That makes him 6 feet, and it's about, I think it's about 230. So he's very strong, and he doesn't lack for any type of shiftiness. I don't want to compare him to Russell Wilson. I don't want to compare him to Russell Westbrook as the most fast twitch athlete I've ever seen. But bro, Luther Burden got some go to him. He can run you over. He can stop and go with the best of them. I cannot wait to see him in Ben Johnson's offense, lining up all over the field, in the backfield, out wide, in the slot, maybe even tight. So because he can do a lot of things from a lot of different places on the football field. Him and DJ together are going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem for anybody on the outside. If you get matched up between one of them one-on-one, and you got a little, dare I say, Dion-esque corner out there defending them that don't really want to get their jersey dirty, is going for 6.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you, Burden is fearless across the middle too.
Oh,
from
yeah.
what I saw on the pre-draft scouting.
Yeah.
That's invaluable.
B. Foster, those Detroit Lions wide receiving core. Any feedback from you on those?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same as it was last year. We got one of the more sure-handed receivers in the league, All-Pro Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, who it seems like every year he's got something new to prove. I think he still has another level that he can get to, but he did have 1,000 yards receiving last year, which is a nice milestone to hit. But we did utilize a mid to, what was that, 4th round on Isaac Tesla, who Brett Holmes.
Third round.
Yeah, okay, yeah, third. Who Brett Holmes said was his favorite, or one amongst one of his favorite prospects. So it'll be nice to see him develop and see where he can get to. But he has all the tools necessary to be, a solid number 2 or 3 when it's all said and done. But we resigned Tim Patrick, who was a good addition, a tall receiver that can stretch the field a little bit. And then we can't forget about Khalif Raymond. I've been, mentally trying to replace him every year, but
every year you try to. Yes.
Yeah, but he was, and he had some injuries. He was injured last year, but a good special teams player, another speedster, and one of Dan Campbell's. I feel like it's one of Dan Campbell's favorites. You can tell when he uses their nickname. He calls them Leaf, but hard-nosed guy, tough, not afraid to block, which Mr. Tesla shares that same sentiment too, and they like that. So solid core, and I'm excited to see how they continue that trend of I think they said something like they want to see 15 to 18 explosive plays a game. How will they incorporate the new guys and make that happen without Ben Johnson?
Yeah.
I got a question. Is it Tesla or Tesla?
In Detroit, it's Tesla. I don't care how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Okay,
but
I do believe that most people pronounce it wrong. Like the car, it's probably the way you said it.
Tesla.
Yeah, it's Tesla.
Double A on the end.
But he's Tesla now that he's in Detroit. That's what it's going to be.
So he's gonna be burning up out there on the field, huh?
Not fired. Look at him go.
I mean,
if you will.
Hey, as you quote, we can't all be happy with another 5'10" receiver. That's what you said about Luther.
He is. I am almost.
Yeah.
What I said in verbatim is that 5'10" receiver that plays big. And, you hear that every year.
That was a sarcastic yay.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Another 5'10" receiver. That's what you said on draft day.
But that's before I got into the tape, June. I got into the tape. I got into the tape. I got my Merrill Hodge on, and I dug deep in the tape, and now I'm like, you know what?
I feel you.
Not too bad.
I feel you. Oh, but you know what? We're gonna take a quick break, but you guys did not discuss the tight ends that are on their receiving core. I don't recall anybody, but we'll talk about it. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll start with Dave. You can talk about who you got in rotation. The tight end position is a very, very vital position. That's a safety valve for our quarterbacks. So we'll talk about those. We got to show them some love. If you're listening, you're going to hear some ads. If you're watching, don't go nowhere. We'll be back in like 10, 15 seconds.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something.
All right. Now, the tight ends are the receiving core. So, Dave, you can tell us who you got. We here in Detroit are familiar with one of them for sure.
Yeah, our starting tight end 1, TJ Hawkinson.
He's one of my favorite players, man.
The Hawk. He's coming back after a recovery season. He hurt his knee thanks to Detroit 2 seasons ago. At the end of the season, he returned halfway through the season, and he didn't look right most of last year. He was only spinning up to speed towards the end of the year. He'll be back full go. We have Josh Oliver, who is our blocking tight end and can catch, and who has done very well, especially in TJ's absence. We lost the best tight end 3 in the world, according to KOC, and Johnny Munt. He went to, I think, the Jaguars or Carolina or one of those teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have openings at tight end 3, 4, 5 that we addressed in the draft. We drafted Gavin Bartholomew out of Pitt, which should be interesting, or Pitt or Penn State, one of those Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania teams. And then in undrafted free agency, we probably got a good steal in Georgia's tight end, Ben Yursak, and then we also got Bryson Nesbitt, and they will all be competing, those 3, for probably the last 2 spots. Guaranteed a tight end 3 spot, but tight end 3 and tight end 4. Now, what is key to all 3 of those guys is they're willing blockers. You need a tight end that's a willing blocker.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, if they love it, great. Hey, they could be like the great Jimmy Kleinsasser, who is just a tackle who played tight end, right? But if they're willing blockers, they're good. If you get a tight end who only catches the ball, then he's an overgrown wide receiver. Well, you want a tight end that has those types of skills, but you also want one that can put his hand in the dirt and get dirty, beating up on defensive tackles and defensive ends and linebackers. And I think we've got a bunch here. TJ Hawkinson is probably the least of the bunch when it comes to getting his hands dirty, but he is willing as well and has gotten better over the years. So I'm quite pleased with how our tight end room from going to 2 now to 5 is looking so far. But we'll catch these guys, the 3 new ones, like I said, this Friday, rookie minicamp. I look forward to checking those guys out.
Okay. Perry, you get to talk about one of my boys that's on the Bears now as far as the tight end position. Who you got there?
Bears spent their first round draft pick this year on a tight end, Colston Loveland.
That's my boy.
Again, I didn't know much about him before hearing his name by Roger Goodell, but I did my draft party with a lot of Michigan Wolverine fans. And they were ecstatic. They said, "Hey, you all won the draft. He is an amazing player. He's the best receiver at Michigan." I said, "Well, you ought to throw the ball that much, though, did you all?"
Especially last year. It was bad.
So again, after looking at the tape, because I try to reserve all my emotion before I actually have all the information. Some of us on FFSN don't really do that, but I try to. Was I happy with going tight end for round one? Not at all. But that doesn't mean Colston Loveland can't become a great draft pick. After looking at the tape, hearing all the fanfare coming from Michigan Wolverine guys and guys that really get into NCAA football, he might turn out to be a great addition to the Bears. That does mean we have a little bit of a conundrum in that tight end room, since how we do also have a very talented and recently paid tight end in Cole Kmet. So we'll have to see. Might be a position battle brewing there, June. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm a Colston Loveland fan. I can't lie, but we'll see how that goes.
Or a lot of 12 position.
You could run a lot of 12 personnel, Dave. You're right. But that will mean the position battle goes to Cole. The position battle is between Loveland and now Burton.
Interesting. B. Foster, what we got going on in Detroit Lions as far as the tight end room?
As far as the tight ends are concerned, we pretty much are keeping things the same. Sam Laporta had a quieter sophomore season. Obviously, he had a great rookie season, had 86 catches and 10 touchdowns. He battled some injuries throughout the year, especially early on, but still had a serviceable year. We brought back Brock Wright as well. And I want to say we have Zylstra is our number 3, but I always entertain the possibility that we will go out and get another tight end early in the draft. And, luckily, they made the right decision and went a different route. But I don't know what it is about tight ends in Detroit, but pause. But
just gotta draft.
Hey, you got 6 on the roster.
Yeah,
you got one in free agency.
Green Bay both have 6 on the roster.
Yeah, we certainly like to
you like
try them all out. That's crazy.
Yeah, bringing them in.
That's kind of wild.
I didn't know where to.
Yeah, that's kind of wild there, Foster. The running back positions. Let's go to the running backs. Dave, who's the running backs on your roster? Any changes? What we got going on there?
Yeah, of course we've got Aaron Jones, the ageless wonder, coming back. He is RB1, but we also traded for or acquired in free agency what's his name out of San Francisco. It is
Christian McCaffrey?
No, Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason, right.
Yeah. He's talk about stout young man. He's the short bully back. So he's going to be the red zone guy. Now, generally, KOC, we're more emphasizing the run game this year. Thus, part of the offensive line rebuild is to get stronger in the run game. And so we did that. Aaron Jones is awesome, right? Especially considering he's going to be 30 this year or 31. We needed somebody that can score inside the red zone because we had a real hard time doing that. And so we went to the KOC's favorite, pass heavy. Well, you throw 5 wide receivers in the end zone, it gets crowded and it's not so successful. When if you can find a back that can push it through 2 to 3 yards and you're good, that's the route you want to go. So that's why we picked Jordan Mason up. We have Ty Chandler, who's one of our young late round draftees from 3 years ago. He's most likely regulated to special teams. And then we got a couple of guys as UDFAs, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Hey, running back room.
We expected the Bears to hit the running back position pretty hard to draft. And we didn't. We drafted one running back, and that was in the 7th round. You don't particularly expect much from 7th round draft picks, but Isaiah Pacheco, he's a 7th round draft pick himself. So there's a lot you can prove from a running back position. I mean, you pretty much, out of any other, I guess, position group, the running backs are probably more so ready to hit the ground running, no pun intended, than any other position groups: quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back, so on and so forth. So there is a shot that the gentleman that the Bears drafted in the 7th round, Kyle Manugi, I hope I'm saying his name right, Manugi, he has a shot to he has a shot to do something on his roster. I mean, the Bears running back room, as opposed to what it was last year at this time, it's not as thick. The Bears broke camp with 5 running backs last year. They won't do it this year. Other than that, we still got the same guys that we had last year. DeAndre Swift, you all are very familiar with him as he's a former Detroit Lions running back. There's been some discussion about whether or not he's going to be the opening day RB1 on this team. Obviously, we didn't draft a running back, so I think he's pretty much locked in for right there, unless Roschon Johnson, who's our other running back in that room, unless he makes it a step forward. I am I'm bearish on both of those. However, improved offensive line, maybe DeAndre Swift can make I guess he can improve himself with his output because we got better players up the middle. Other than that, we did hire Eric Bieniemy to be the running back room coach. So we see what we got. We got all stars all over that coaching staff. So I'm hoping that there could be some good to come out of that.
Man, I'm surprised Eric Bieniemy hasn't had a head coaching offer yet. So that's kind of crazy.
Some reasons for that.
What's that?
There's some reasons for that.
We'll talk about it later.
He's got some offers, but
he did get offers.
No paper signed.
Okay, well, as long as he got offers, I can't, we count on those. But B. Foster, Detroit Lions backfield. What are we talking about?
Well, I would venture to say that it's probably top to bottom, probably the deepest, certainly the deepest amongst the Lions, but gotta be up there as far as the NFL is concerned. When you talk about that one particular room, you got an amazing 1-2 punch, and Craig Reynolds, one of those guys that I always feel like, maybe this is the year. But we continue to bring him back, and deservedly so. He's a very serviceable running back, and Sione Vaki, who didn't get a chance to play, obviously, with how deep we are, didn't get a chance to play a lot last year, mostly a special teams guy, as MSU Detroit fan talked about. But we still, I think there's still some potential, and I think they're eventually going to unlock him and really display, the fact that he can not only, receive handoffs, but also catch out of the backfield. So not much to, not much competition that way. They're pretty solidified at that top 4, but always seems to be a 5th guy that's right on the fringe, but there's just not a whole lot of room there.
Okay.
You have one of the best running back duos and rooms in the league. Period. And I'm admitting that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, 2,000-yard rushers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you get no argument from me, Dave. All right, we can. Well, you want to talk about quarterbacks? I know there's changes in Minnesota for sure. So we can talk. Well, do you want to talk Green Bay running backs, or
do they even have any?
Yes, they have a very good one.
Josh Jacobs. You're referring to?
Yeah.
He's backed up by Marshawn Lloyd, and then Emmanuel Wilson is their RB3.
Yeah, they let Dillon go, I believe, or he went.
He
Yeah.
was hurt last year, right?
He was hurt last year. But yeah.
which is tends to be a theme across Green Bay as a whole, whether it be Watson at wide receiver or whomever, they get banged up a lot. Darn it.
Yeah. So we can talk quarterbacks. We're on you, Dave. You got a new starter, regardless of who it is, out with Sam Darnold, and you have your guy. He's my guy too.
McCarthy.
He's my guy too. But what's your quarterback room looking like?
Quarterback room is interesting because we needed a backup, and during the draft we traded down 30 spots and got one. It's we had obviously JJ McCarthy is now slated to start. He still has not been named the official starter, but he's already taken a press conference as the official starter. So, but we traded for Sam Howell out of Seattle. We swapped Sams, basically, is how that went. Got Sam Howell. He's a youngster. KOC and Kwesi had done their pre-draft work on him when they first got to the team in 2022, and they like him. So he's going into the reclamation school of quarterbacks for KOC, which should be good and interesting. Then we have Brett Rippon, a perennial clipboard holder that's been in the league a few years and started some games. Yeah. And we picked up as, I think, one of the first undrafted free agents, the young Max Brosmer, quarterback out of Minnesota, played for the Gophers. He'll at least be the camp arm if he does not push any of either Rippon or Howell for making the roster. I don't see us taking, keeping more than 3 quarterbacks. Right. And even the third one might get regulated to the practice squad and just called up on weekends, or we might keep 4 and keep Brosman stashed on the practice squad for forever, but we'll see how it goes.
Shout out to North Carolina, the Tar Heel, Sam Howell. I know Pay wanted to say something, but
Hey, he was highly thought of coming out of college.
Yes, he was.
He trained Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. Sam Howell comes from good stock.
Okay, Pay. Pay, you have your starter. You can talk about him a little bit, but you also have a backup that's a fan favorite. So talk about your quarterback room.
So the quarterback room with Chicago Bears, it will not have any changes going into the 2025 season. We have the chosen one, the prodigal son, Caleb Williams, going in for year 2. And as you mentioned, the fan favorite, who's always a fan favorite, the quarterback 2 is always a fan favorite. I don't care what city you're in. Everyone's
Chicago.
Yeah, of course, because in a city that's been, what's a good word, bereft of quality quarterback play for decades, the backup is always very popular in this city. But this time is just because he has nice hair. So I don't foresee any quarterback controversy like we did see with Justin Fields his last season and Tyler Badgett. There was a bit of a tug of war between the fan base and who should play and who should be the backup. Caleb Williams is far and away. Lockett, he's the guy.
But having the bag man as number 2 isn't bad.
Oh yeah, he definitely. I mean, he's not, for somebody that was undrafted, went to a school you've never heard of, probably the size of a high school. So he's pretty decent out there. I don't know about for the sample size he's shown, he's been pretty decent. For if you extrapolate it over a course of a full season, you have to prove it to me. You got to merch it. Yeah, I don't know. So
I saw you brought in a mentor into the room.
Oh yes, we did. We do got another veteran in the squad, but that's quarterback 3. I'm not too sure that the Bears carry 3 quarterbacks. There's a lot of skill positions that the Bears got to take over, got to be aware of. And in addition, I don't think they're done making additions on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
And that for those that don't know, that backup clipboard holder / mentor is Case Keenum.
Oh,
Yes.
Been in the league quite a while.
Yeah.
usually.
And all I see him is probably sitting there, just telling stories and making sure Caleb Williams makes his nail appointments and all that sort of
It's an
It's very
important
key.
job now.
This is very key. Hey, when you're the boss, you need to have an EA, an executive assistant. Keenum, make sure my appointments are on time. Thank you.
Oh boy. Anyway, Foster. The quarterback room in Detroit. I think we know who the starter is, but you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, our starter is of course Jared Goff. I'm certainly glad that they're done with the chants around the world. But he had an excellent year last year. Didn't have the performance we had hoped for in the playoffs, but here's another opportunity for him to get to that next level, get us to the big game. And then our backup is Hendon Hooker. This is a big year for him. He's coming off of his first fully healthy year last year. He had a serviceable preseason. At the end of the year, they did go out and bring in Teddy Bridgewater, who they felt would be a much more effective backup in the event that for some reason that Goff got hurt, which he did ended up getting hurt, and Teddy did play during against the Commanders, I believe. But this is the year that he solidifies himself as a backup quarterback and possible predecessor down the line to Jared Goff, possibly. And similar to the Bears, we did bring in a what was the word you use as Dave, as far as
a mentor.
mentor? Yes,
somebody with experience, but great at
Correct.
holding the clipboard and telling stories.
Right. So, so Teddy Bridgewater obviously went back to coaching football and being a state champion. And we brought in Kyle Allen, who's been a career backup. I think he had 1 year in Carolina where he was the primary starter, but for the most part, he's been a backup. And once again, don't hope to have to bring in, keep a third quarterback, but a good mentor to develop Hooker and make sure that he is, ready if called upon, not when, if called upon. But that is the quarterback room.
All right.
Now I got a question.
Go ahead.
Most every team in the NFL rolls into training camp with 4 QBs because you need that camp arm. It could be, some guy that is never expected to make the team, but just relieves the amount of throws on your QB1 and QB2. Do you guys anticipate picking up somebody between now and when training camp starts in August?
It looks like this is Anthony Tyus was an undrafted free agent from Ohio. He will, So it looks like we have an undrafted free agent that's not on the depth chart, but on the active roster somewhere amongst the hundreds. Okay. So we did bring in a camp arm.
All right. That about do it for the offense, and we're at 48 minutes. We don't have any time to do the defense. Talk about the defense, but we'll say that for another show, another week. We got a long off season ahead of us, so we can definitely talk about that another time. But I want to go around the room. Also, Green Bay Packers have the professional quarterback, and I forgot the backup's name, but he was
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. He was highly touted out of college. Went to the Titans. Didn't work out there, but he's their backup. He actually stepped in and won a couple games.
Professional backup.
He's the professional backup. So
hey, they make good money.
Yeah. So we'll go around the room one last time and we'll answer the question of concerns about the offense. It's a new year. Not concerns, but challenges. Let's say challenges, because then concerns is such a negative word. What challenges do you guys face, Dave, starting with the offense this year as opposed to last year?
Oh, we're looking to see who tight end 3 is. That's probably the biggest battle on our offensive side. I'm curious to see who makes our depth at O-line, because we have some this year, and I think we have more than we have spots for. So there'll be a battle in those areas, and to find out who's our backup center and such like that, and how the youngsters from last year have developed over an off season. It's going to be interesting. I think our offense is pretty well situated now. We're going to be competitive at minimum.
Gotcha. Pay.
As far as challenges for our offense, I don't necessarily have any right now. I mean, like I said, most Bears fans expected and maybe desired an upgraded running back, a younger player, maybe not necessarily an upgrade, but a younger running back in this deep running back draft class that we just had. But that didn't come to fruition. The only thing I would say is one of the biggest issues with the Bears offense last season was that we had a lack of imagination, or a lack of being able to put all of the pieces together. You saw weeks at a time that Cole Kmet, our tight end, our incumbent tight end, was left out of the offense. A whole bunch of times DJ Moore was looking lost out there, like, this, you're not utilizing me correctly. It took Roman Duze a long time to catch on. Keenan Allen the same way when he wasn't dropping touchdown passes. So I expect that to not be an issue this year with Ben Johnson at the helm.
I'm about to say the biggest improvement on your offense is your head coach.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. The biggest improvement for any team was the Bears going from Matt Eberflus and the Shane Waldron era to Ben Johnson and like I said, the rock stars of coaches that he brought in. So if there's a challenge, it is to be able to do what Waldron couldn't do with the players that he had, as well, while also bringing in 2 more players, Colston Loveland and Luther Burton, to name a few.
All right. B. Foster.
It's so funny. That's got to be he's Luther Jr. Ain't no way they named a baby Luther in this day and age.
Yeah, I didn't think they were still making Luthers.
Hey, it's a great name. My grandfather's name was Luther.
Yeah. Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
Well, there ain't too many of them. There ain't no other Vandross. So.
It's Luther for Luther. B. Foster, any challenges going into this season with the offense?
Challenges. I mean, the left side of the offense, maybe. I mean, Tyler Decker, he had his moments last year that might have been a little shaky. And then Christian Mahogany is also like it's penned in as the current left guard. So they might be leaning a little heavy on the right side early on, or if things don't go so well. But other than that, receiving core looks good. Tight ends should probably go as we expect. So yeah, just the left side of that offensive line.
I want to add that, as far as the challenges with the Detroit Lions, you do have, like you said, the filling the gaps with the guard positions, and also you don't have Ben Johnson. You have a new offensive coordinator, and that could definitely be something to question or think about going into the season, because the offense is not going to look the same as it's been the last 2 seasons, whether it's for better or for worse. It's going to be different. So we'll see how that goes. I still think the offense will be pretty good. I mean, you got 2,000-yard rushers, 2,000-yard receivers, a decent offensive line, and a tight end that's emerging. I don't see how anyone couldn't have at least a decent offense with what you have to walk into. But it's going to be different. It's going to be
better than decent, but
I'm just, I don't want to talk too heavy,
Yeah, but we both got rookies starting at guard, so let's see how the rookies do.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's stuff that now if you bring in everything from last year and you had Ben Johnson coming back, then well, no worries on the offense at all. But there's you know there's something to watch for and look for this season, fellas. We've come to the end of the show. I want to thank you guys. If you want to go around the room one last time and tell them what you got going on this week as far as shows and where they can find those shows, Dave, we'll start with you.
Well, over at Vikings First and Skull, we've got a whole slew of shows normally, but not this week because again, attached to my move, it's we had Tyler Fornes and the Real Forno show on Monday. It was supposed to be tonight at 6, but it got moved out to tomorrow night because I thought I was going to miss this, and turns out I didn't. And he'd already made plans. So he comes tomorrow night, and we miss Sal this week because she's been way under the weather. She sounds miserable. If anybody has some good flu-type recipes to send her, please do. And then we'll, of course, end the week with the two old bloggers, myself and Darren Campbell, where we do the long-form week in review sort of show, and we break everything down. And we'll, by that time have rookie mini camp, and we'll see how the young guns look. And we can't wait. But again, find us on Vikings First and Skull YouTube, your favorite podcaster at Vikings First and Skull, and over at Fans First Sports Network, where you can find our written stuff under the Vikings tab, as well as if you're a Facebooker, you can check our Facebook page over there as well. And it's good to see one of my people here. Hey, Dalton.
Hey, what you got going on, and where can they catch the shows?
Before the pandemic, dogs were just universally known as man's best friends. But I think now that we had got more indoors, everybody sees that dogs are very irritating, right? Dave, you agree with me, right, Dave? Benny, what's up?
Benny? At the wrong times.
I know, man. I get it, man. I deal with that myself. But over at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans channel, like I said earlier, you can find that anywhere you get your podcast: Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube Music, and Pandora, and any other ones that I did not mention. Castbox for those that even go dig that deep into it. But all episodes and all content, in fact, even more content is even available on our YouTube channel at the same name, Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans. Coming up this week, we got more Bears roster analysis and more Chicago Bulls and Chicago Cubs talk for the most part. But next week, you will have your first official projection for the Bears season. As the schedule releases, we will definitely be here to tell you to break that down. Like, okay, the Bears are going. Will the Bears go 13-4? Find out. We will find out what we think about it. Also, before I get off, ginger ale, reposado, and throat coat. Dave, put it all in a cup.
All right,
knock it right out.
All right. B. Foster, what's going on with your channel and your shows?
As usual, me and Coach do a weekly show on Sunday, recapping a week in Tigers baseball. I've been missing the Tigers. They had a day off on Monday, got rained out yesterday, but
last night.
We'll be back tonight, and we'll have a doubleheader tomorrow. But outside of that, the NBA draft, the NBA lottery is the 12th, and that will signify the beginning of NBA player profiles as we prepare for the NBA draft in June. Mm-hmm. And then, yes, of course, like everybody else, will be talking about the schedules, mini camp, and yes, remedies. Vernors. It was invented in Detroit by accident by a pharmacist during the Civil War. That is the official Detroit remedy for all sicknesses across the board.
All right. All right.
Gotcha. It's got to be good.
And like Foster was saying, you can check out all those shows. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. And whether you're a Lions fan and you're paying attention to this show because I'm hosting the stream, please support these guys here. They're great guys. They have great media content. You might look at them as competition. I look at them as peers and friends. They are dope. Support them. They work very diligently on what they do, and you could actually learn something about their teams for scouting purposes. So with that, I'm going to say thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate guys on the panel. We have had a great week. We will be back next Wednesday. And I think it's Dave, you're hosting, right? Next week. And
Yes,
we'll be talking. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but we're going to have something good.
talking about the schedule release.
Well, we're definitely going to get into the schedule. So that's the night, right?
Steelers in Dublin in week 4. Tune in and find out.
Yeah. Isn't that tonight, though? Ain't they releasing the schedule tonight or
No,
Next Wednesday.
next Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh,
Officially. Well, I'll probably have it all unofficially by the time this show starts.
Okay.
You know, those leaks.
And we'll have the international games before that. They always come early.
We'll see how that goes. Make sure you subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and follow the fellas too as well. And if you don't know, you can get in touch with me, June Whitfield on Facebook. Just inbox me. I'll make sure you get all that information so you can check out their shows. Have a great day.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back.